Hello and welcome back. I'm Allmrak. This is the second game from the second qualifier of the Coubertin Cup, the third live Super Blitz tournament that DJParson and I have pulled together. Now the first match from this second qualifier is on DJParson's channel. I'll link to that in the description below. Now in this match we did have a few technical difficulties and we're only able to get about 1.5 screens and not all of the frames from either of them, but it's still a great match. So, as always, thank you for watching, and do enjoy the match.
And we are back and really excited for the next game. That is gonna be mm34nn against chumchu. We're just setting everything up. We can take another look at these standings right here. So yeah, we're gonna cast mm34nn against chumchu. mm34nn definitely one of the top players. I don't know that much about chumchu, but he was able to win his first game quite convincingly. So that
and I checked him out in Hayata's rankings, and he's quite high.
Oh, is he? That's nice.
Yeah, very strong player.
That's really good. And then above that is Kimo.
In fact, just fun story. In fact, if you pull up the multiplayer ratings, he's just one spot above you.
Oh, is he? Then he must be very good. Yeah, definitely.
Very, very good.
I mean, not as good as you, but
right. I mean, I'm a few spots above that, but we don't need to talk.
Do you have the link to that? Maybe we can take a look at that.
Sure.
That's something you guys are interested in, right? Having a little bit look at the players, at their histories, how good they are in the tournaments and everything. Thanks, Allmrak, for showing that. And you guys can see that? Yeah, you guys can see that.
Yeah. So if you look at the in the multiplayer ranking, chumchu's 27th, and mm34nn is not in there. So I think he doesn't do that. He did the duel though. I forget what it's called, but the one-on-one tournament that Hayata did, and in that mm34nn is 56, and chumchu is 57. Oh, they're right next to each other.
Ah, interesting. Also,
and that's out of 200 players or so, so they're definitely in the top 25% of all the players that have.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, 56 and 57. But yeah, that is really interesting that in the dual rating we have the next players, mm34nn and chumchu, right above each other. Actually, the same scoring, 1568 for both of these. So that should be a really, really interesting game. And there we have it. We can start and see that chumchu takes Hammurabi, I think, or is that mm34nn screen? That is okay. This is yellow. That's mm34nn, and on the other hand, we don't have a good screen. Will that stay like that, Allmrak? You are our technical expert. I guess we might just have to look at this again. There we can see maybe Hannes can give us a nice leaders command. But looks like we have a nice screen set up from mm34nn. And we see Zizka. Maybe we can see Zizka finally again. We had the conspiracy theory going that he wasn't even in the game, but mm34nn goes for Confucius for 2 civil actions. Confucius. That's confusing me a little bit, but yeah. But yeah, very interesting. And now chumchu can go for Hammurabi. And you can take the pyramids together with that, maybe Colosseum. Chumchu goes for the pyramids. And now yellow's turn, mm34nn's turn. Plays really, really fast, elects Confucius and goes for Colosseum, I guess. He builds a mine as well and increased population. So very standard moves. I hope these guys take a little bit longer once it gets a little bit more complicated.
I'm sure they will.
So we're just staying at the yellow's screen for now, I think.
No, yeah, I'm working on it. Hopefully we can get that resolved.
Very nice, but for now that is perfectly fine. And chumchu finishes the pyramids already and takes knights for 2. And mm34nn will play an aggression as an event with Confucius. and opens development of markets, and will go for an early Machu Picchu. Yeah, I didn't get an HA Wonder, didn't get the Colosseum, goes for very early Machu Picchu, and can build a couple of steps of that this turn to not have corruption. Yeah, I can build 2 steps, finish that next turn. Looks like he doesn't want to do that. Looks like he wants a lab instead of that. And can maybe finish the Machu Picchu in a couple of turns. Really miss iron after this, so that will feel pretty bad. Takes a long look at the leaders and wonders. That's interesting that he's looking so long at this. There's Zizka not showing up yet. But he is really interested in the leaders, and Chumchu will take Leonardo and can go for an alchemy, upgrade that, build a 3rd farm. Interesting. And now yellow will play another aggression as an event with Confucius, getting 1 extra science for that, and opening development of civil life. And if he wants, he can develop knights. That's usually what we want to do with that. Save on the science. And doesn't finish Machu Picchu yet, but yeah, we'll finish that next turn and then probably take iron, both of the irons showing up. So that's going to be interesting if Chumchu takes one of these for 2 next turn, or if he can wait with that. And Chumchu will... I mean, Chumchu now has a lab going, he has a lot of food. He went for the 3rd agriculture and now has 7 food in the bank, so we are probably doing something with that. Oh, looks like yellow was looking at his notifications for a minute. That's no problem. I hope you guys can still follow everything. It can be a little bit harder, but yeah, we are used to playing fast ourselves, so maybe we can piece all of this together.
Yes, and this one is like it's a puzzle we're putting together.
It's a puzzle, yeah. And yellow will probably look to get a new leader instead of Confucius soon. We'll take Britain Circuses. Was it there, Pierre? I guess we can see that because Hannes saved one of those.
Oh, great.
But there was no Pierre.
I think Chumchu is, focusing on his game. So it looks like if we want to look at his screen, we can look at the left half of it.
Yeah, if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, we can see this. So at least we can take a look at his military actions, military cards. Can make that even a lot bigger. But yeah, this is sadly everything we can see from Chumchu's kind of view. So I think we stay with mm34nn for now. He will go for finishing Machu Picchu, take iron, and Chumchu will not get one. Will reveal development of religion, which you can go for, then finish the Machu Picchu and take 1 iron, taking the other one away from Chumchu. So that is pretty good for him. And then Chumchu maybe is gonna get Himeji Castle, who knows? Himeji Castle is definitely really good. So maybe we will see that from him. He gets some extra civil actions from, some extra resources from Leonardo. So going for the Himeji Castle seems pretty good in my eyes. So that's gonna be interesting if he decides to go for that. And he does. He goes for another Another alchemy goes for warrior as well, and the Himeji castle. And mm34nn will play the rebellion, open knowledge of the ancients. That's pretty good for Chumchu here. And looks like yellow decides to pick up Barbarossa and the disrespect to Zizka. I mean,
yes.
I think we have an emote for that for Zizka, that he might be a little bit overpowered, but if he doesn't get picked in this, I mean, for 3 it's a hard choice, and yeah, Barbarossa isn't too bad, but yeah, I guess it comes down to yellow losing his leader if he wouldn't do this. So he can't go for Zizka, so no Zizka, he came a little bit too late this game. So, what do we have? Maybe we can also start the bet soon. I think we have a mod for that. Hannes is gonna set that up, and then you guys can bet who's gonna win, Chumchu or mm34nn. Of course, taking a little bit of a look at Chumchu's civilization. He has a lot of science saved up. Has Himeji castle on the way. So which position do you like more, would you say?
Unfortunately, I have not gotten a good look at the match yet.
Yeah, so yeah, Chumchu has some nice science production, and Leonardo with 2 alchemies. That is pretty nice, and I really like that he has the Himeji castle as well. So I like his position quite a lot. He can get quite strong. I don't know how much I like mm34nn going for Barbarossa. And he also went for the Taj Mahal, which I think you can do, of course. He has a lot of production with the Machu Picchu and iron. And we'll probably look at finishing the... No, goes for irrigation instead. I mean, that's doubled the production from that one irrigation because of the Machu Picchu. And decides to play the Good Harvest first. And then, yeah, definitely go for that irrigation. Use Barbarossa. I mean, good food production, good resources. What he's missing for Barbarossa, in my opinion, is the military actions. And doesn't really have a way to get any more, especially now if he skips monarchy. He could also go for monarchy this turn, but looks like he doesn't want to do that. And we see some nice bets coming in. You guys are betting mostly on Chumchu. mm34nn only getting 1 bet on himself, and Chumchu getting most of the others. So yeah, I think I would agree with that. An aggression by Chumchu, so draining those cards from mm34nn. Do you like plays like that? Spending your military phase or your events, your politics phase, spend military actions to just force cards out of your opponent's hand?
I mean, certainly I've done it. I did it in a game recently to get a defense card out so I could win a territory. You know, it's situational. It depends. Here, it's an interesting choice. You know, yeah, I mean, you're in age 2. You only have 2 military actions, so I think it could depend.
Yeah, mm34nn is definitely missing a lot of military card draw, because he wants to spend his military actions on, well, on Barbarossa, so taking more cards out of his hand. Yeah, I guess it's okay, but it also costs Chumchu, and who also doesn't have a lot of military actions, so yeah, not so sure. But mm34nn will solve that problem, goes for strategy, can even go for that this turn. Maybe use Barbarossa again. So, and I mean, now that he doesn't go for strategy, there could again be an aggression, especially with the Himeji castle. That's why I think I agree with going for the strategy this turn. Now he just needs a couple of happy faces to be good, especially with that rebellion in the deck. And yeah, I mean, he has a lot of resources, that's for sure, with the Machu Picchu, and can definitely afford losing those to the Raiders. Now, chumchu is at 3 warriors, definitely not the strongest. Has swordmen and the knights in his hand, but yeah, probably wants cannons. Yes, he did go for the theocracy. Goes for breakthrough here. And we see Watt coming out and coal coming out as well. So, I mean, if nobody takes any of these, chumchu has no iron, so he could go for Watt and the coal. And then that would be a nice combination to finally get some resource production going. He also should have the civil actions needed for that. Will go for the cannons apparently. Doesn't have a tactic yet. Has 2 knights and a warrior, but no tactics in hand as well. So yeah, taking those cannons could be very important, because if you don't have any tactics, you want to keep your options open to be able to go for those tactics. Yeah, sorry guys, I haven't figured out yet if the new bot can give you feedback if that worked, your bets. But maybe Hannes can tell you guys. I don't know if Hannes can see it, but yeah, definitely saw that Malru's bet came through. We now have 2 bets on mm34nn and 4 on chumchu.
Okay, I'm gonna try to pay attention now and not try to fix anything anymore.
Yeah, so no chance of getting the second screen, I guess, but I mean, now
I don't think so. I think he followed our advice and turned off his notifications, and now he's not getting notified when I message him.
And yeah, okay. So he's concentrating on the game, not yeah. And yeah, I predicted it. He goes for Watt and the coal, can upgrade once with that and take. I mean, I could have taken efficient upgrade or the revolutionary idea. I think both pretty okay. But now that he has resource production as well, I think chumchu has a nice position. And mm34nn can't really play something. He did play the rebellion himself, and now he has unhappy workers. 2 even if he doesn't fix that. It's always a really bad feeling, right? When you play the rebellion because you think, yeah, I'm gonna be fine, and then your opponent is completely fine and you really struggle.
Yeah. So what's happened so far in this game? You give me a quick summary.
A quick summary. So mm34nn went for the early Machu Picchu, went for early iron and irrigation, and decided to go with Barbarossa together with that. And as we can see now, he also fixes his science production. Chumchu, on the other hand, skipped the iron and everything, but he went for early Leonardo with an alchemy, and then even 2 alchemies. So that is also really kind of a dream team, right? Alchemy and Leonardo. So yeah, both of these not looking too bad. One has great production, the other has great science, but now seems like both are getting closer together, with the 1 going for science as well, and chumchu with Watt. Great pickup for him. And the territory. And being able to win that. I don't think he played that, so that is really great that he can pick that up. Especially good with Barbarossa. He definitely likes that way more than opening the rebellion. And yeah, MM got the strategy going for himself, so he could go for Republic. He's still only at 4 civil actions, so that's definitely something he wants to fix. But he just upgraded science production, so maybe we see the Republic out of MM in the next turn. So I was seeing both that. What do you think? Who has a better position, or is it too hard to tell?
I don't know that I can tell from what I've watched so far. Do you have an opinion?
I mean, I like both positions a bit. They both have things going for them. And it's really hard to decide which ones are more important. I mean, MM also with the classic army in hand, that's great for him. He has so much food and resources that I think that is something I really, really like. I would love to see him pick up the Republic. I think that would really fit his position now. He got quite lucky with the Rebellion that was just revealed, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go for Darwin, but doesn't have any happy faces. Those are the problems he has, civil actions and happy faces, and I think Chumchu doesn't have as many problems, so probably I like Chumchu's position more now.
Yeah. I mean, so Chumchu has coal and ocean liner. It's taken at least, not going yet. And he has the, I mean, you don't hate having Himeji Castle in this situation.
No, definitely not, yeah. And MM just seeded the terrorism. I don't know how that is looking. He has 23 culture now, and Chumchu is at. Let's hope that we can see that. But it looks like MM is not. Oh yeah, that is 26. So that will be quite close. So really, really interesting.
Yeah. That's a risky seed.
Definitely, and we see Suez Canal, and Chumchu does have. Oh no, mm34nn has the autonomous territory in hand, so that's maybe something that he can go for. Chumchu, of course, wants to upgrade his last coal, I believe, and then we start building on the Oceanlander service before he loses the engineering genius. Maybe also getting the bread and circus and knights out before he loses them to the end of the age. So both have, yeah, it's not a really military-heavy game. No one is pressuring anybody. I mean, we did see that one aggression that was doomed to fail, but yeah, after that, pretty peaceful, and both just building up their production, living peaceful lives.
the way the way that Pierre would have wanted it.
Exactly, that's exactly what Pierre would have wanted. Sadly, he's not in the game to see this, but also we have to keep in mind the International Red Cross, and both have quite a lot of food at the moment, but Chumchu at 3 agricultures, probably, I mean, with the Oceanlander service he doesn't need any more food, really, if he goes for that soon. So that will be interesting if he decides to go for selective breeding, maybe with Watt. That's definitely something you want to have if you can fit it in, right?
I mean, and if Red Cross is in the game, you need that to sort of bank up on food to use with Red Cross.
Yeah. I mean, none of these players have started with the culture production yet, not heavily at least. So yeah, usually have either an arms race or a culture race, but it looks like these guys are having an economy race, and
right.
I mean, it's going to be Machu Picchu with iron and irrigation against coal and Oceanlander service and selective breeding now. So, I mean, at least MM will now get his Republic out, so he's finally getting some civil actions, and plays autonomous territory. And inhabited territory 2 comes out. That would be so great for MM. So that is going to be interesting what Chumchu will be able to bet.
Yeah. 10 is an awful lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think that should be pretty safely for Chumchu doesn't have a lot of cards in hand. Oh, but he was able to bid 10 as well, so gets quite expensive for So either really nice nice call by Chumchu, or he has a lot of colonization cards himself. And wanting to save the science and go for Robespierre. What do you think about that? I mean, you have the science to go for Republic normally. Yeah, I think you do that instead and go for... Yeah, go for Nobel. Looks a lot better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has 13 food now. That is definitely really, really nice with the International Red Cross. If you can keep saving that. One problem is he does have corruption quite a lot.
Yeah, he has 2 cubes from his wonders, 2 blue cubes. And what territories does he have? You know? He just won the
Inhabited. And the other one, maybe chat knows, I forgot, I think. It was developed 1. Developed territory 1.
Okay. So he has 3 extra blue cubes, which is going to help with that.
Yeah. Oh, and Han is doing the important mod work of putting up a poll. Who gets hit by the terrorism? What do you think? I mean, it's really close. So I think played that. So does he get hit himself by his own terrorism? That is a gamble.
It is.
So Chumchu could finish his Oceanliner service this turn.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, it's start of H3. There's about the last point where that is still very good.
I mean, we could try sharing just the half of his screen. It gives us more information than nothing.
That's true. I mean, yeah.
And then we can guess at what's happening in the other half.
Yeah, that's a fun game. Maybe we can do that. So what is his plan? He has 4 knights, no tactic still, and looks like he wants to go for movies. Or does he think better of that? I mean, he played the terrorism, so I don't know if we want to go for movies now, before that comes out.
Yeah, that seems like not a good idea.
So what is his plan? I don't really see a plan of either of these guys what they want to do yet. They still have to decide. They build up their food production, resource production, science production, and now they have to decide what they want to go for. And looks like is the first to commit to the movies.
Interesting.
And
so
looks like
he has a turn before he has more culture then?
And now with the popularization of science, he should already... Yeah, he has 45 now, so that terrorism will definitely hit him.
That's very interesting.
So maybe we can now take a quick look at the 1/2 that we get going from... he goes from Marlene, maybe taking that away from the movies. Yeah, I guess we can also... Yeah, I think we rather stay with MM's kind of view. He's pretty nice at looking what Chumchu does eventually. But yeah, the terrorism, that, especially if it destroys the movies, that's 11 resources suddenly gone. And the other way around would have been so important if, so we see what Chumchu does here. Goes for selective breeding, rockets, and Marlene. So it's mm34nn's turn now. He's still producing a lot, so does he even open? No, doesn't even want to play politics and doesn't want to open that terrorism.
Put it off as long as possible, I guess.
Yeah, get as much out of the movies as you can. And both of them are prepared for the Red Cross. So that's really good to see from both of them. I guess now nobody has taken engineering, so or any other of these technologies, I think. So that's definitely something you want to have with the Red Cross, so you can finish that without spending all of your civil actions on that. And I mean, especially if you want to rebuild your movies at some point, engineering, I love that technology overall, and especially if it's if it might come down to who gets how many steps on the Red Cross, then engineering is really, really great.
Yep.
So not really sure what the rest of his plan is.
So they invested in military, maybe to dissuade Chumchu from playing an event here.
Oh yeah, that's
maybe he thinks he can stop that from happening for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it looks like Chumchu put Crime Wave in as well, so there actually is a strength event in that Chumchu put.
Oh, did you see that from the one half of Chumchu's screen?
Yes.
Ah, nice.
I did. You can learn a lot from the left half of the screen.
Yeah.
It's actually almost the left 2/3 of the screen. You can see quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm interested now if Chumchu will take the engineering. Maybe we can have a small look again, see what he wants to do. Sadly, we can't see his civil actions, so no chance of seeing those. Can see some impacts here: science, progress in hand. So I think one movies was just taken by MM, or did he decide not to go for that? But of course, that's something that's really important, which impacts you can play, and can you be safe that you can have more science production than your opponent.
Yeah, so he has Marlena in hand and he's grabbing the movies, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, he could also go for oil. It's not too late for that. If you grab movies and oil, go for one or two of those oils, you can build one movies every turn. Which could again mean that the terrorism will eventually hit him. So that's going to be really interesting.
True. Yeah.
Also, if he wants to go for Empire State, like or any of the other wonders.
Even more food.
Looks like... Oh, he goes for one movies in this turn, apparently. Guess we're gonna see that on MM's screen, what exactly he does. Okay, culture is not really that close, so the terrorism would need a lot of things to go right for MM, so he wouldn't get hit by that. But I guess if nobody plays anything, if nobody plays events, it doesn't hit anybody. So yeah, that's definitely something that's really interesting. So it looks like chumchu has not decided yet. Apparently he's looking at his impacts, which ones he wants to discard. And it looks like he doesn't like progress or the science. So that is definitely a pretty important decision for him. Goes for Marlena. Sadly, MM has his green over that, but goes for one movies. So he has 9 culture reduction now. So it gets a lot closer again. And I mean, overall, as second player, you have an advantage with the terrorism, because your opponent produces before you, I guess. So MM doesn't like happy faces, apparently. Or what is his plan with that? Maybe he wants to go for Chaplin. He hasn't committed yet. He still has his movies. Would solve his happy face problems. What do you think? Is he gonna go for Chaplin here? I think we might have lost Allmrak here.
Sorry.
There we are.
I'm here.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Chaplin seems like a reasonable choice here. It's not very often you say that, but
Yeah. This game feels weird. I'm not sure what this game will come down to. Is it just gonna be slowly building up movies, one movies against the others? Or is it still gonna come down to a big war or something? Well, that seems pretty unlikely, I think.
I mean, MM he's holding his tactic, waiting for an opportunity to reveal it,
I
potentially.
mean, yeah, he could play the war next turn and then build one more, but he doesn't have enough for also playing the tactic, I guess. So not exactly sure what his plan is. Also against chumchu with the magic castle, that of course becomes a lot harder to go for that war. So looks like he's still doesn't want to play his tactic. Doesn't want to reveal that. I mean, he has patriotism in hand now, so he can go for the war of a culture, play patriotism, build one more rifleman, and play the tactic. But looks like that's maybe not what he wants to go for. And now he goes for the chaplain. Can he do anything else nicely with that? I mean, 12 culture production now, that is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Again, not really working well with the terrorism, but he stays stronger, so maybe chumchu doesn't want to play politics. That's probably what it comes down to. And if nobody's playing impacts, that's gonna be better for the one player who has more culture production, so that's maybe his game plan: delay the game, don't play impacts, and produce a lot.
Yeah.
And that International Red Cross really letting us wait for it. Also, chumchu does have the masonry, so could definitely go for that. So chumchu now gets more population out. I mean, the problem is why MM doesn't want to play his tactic at all is because chumchu is ready to copy that. And I mean, the strength is very, very low for both of these players, but that is mostly because MM has no tactic at all. It's not really often that you see that, right? In the end of H3 and you don't have any tactic. Never had one.
Yeah.
Don't need one.
Don't need one. Yeah, it is. It's strange. They're just getting along so well.
Yeah, but
someone's gonna get a wonder here too, right?
I mean, the big problem for chumchu is he has to still be afraid. Maybe he's not, but if you're playing against someone who has a great tactic, or doesn't have a tactic yet and still is quite strong, and chumchu is in no position to really go for a good tactic himself, especially because he doesn't have the military actions, so I think he definitely has to grab the military theory. Yeah, he does exactly that. And he has great resource production and great resources, so would be really interesting to see which tactics he has. Do we have any information about that?
Which one he has in hand? He has positional army.
Positional and entrenchments, right?
I can't. It looks like it. Yeah.
But he just went for quite a lot of knights, and the autonomous territory comes down. And the military action could be very important, but interesting that MM didn't go for the war. I mean, that tactic that he has, that is 16 strength. He does not have enough for air forces, though. He's missing just one science with his revolutionary idea, because I think that's from H2. So he couldn't go for the air forces as well, but I mean, he was
trying to get that terrorism out, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. That was very close, but that would have meant that he would have won that, but... I mean, it's his last chance to play the tactic, right? If he doesn't play it this turn, then he's gonna discard it, most likely. Yeah, or even definitely.
Yeah, almost certainly.
I mean, now the International Red Cross is there, so maybe MM thinks he can grab that and that will be enough. Especially as, I mean, will have 9 food next turn. With reserves, he can go for 4 steps on that. So that is really interesting, and it looks like they are still thinking about how much they want to bid for that colony. And now he plays to the tactic, but yeah, didn't go for the war. I mean, maybe he thinks he doesn't need to, but I mean, I think now you have to grab the International Red Cross, or Chumchu will go for that. Of course, yeah, grabbing 1 Air Force, maybe 1 war is enough. You can next turn go for 2 Air Forces and the war with his patriotism. And that might just be enough, this 1 war.
Yeah.
And then he has some nice stuff like reserves coming. He just has to be careful that he doesn't end the age, but can take 2 reserves.
I think Chumchu can get in Air Forces as well.
Yeah, the question is, does he have any good tactics with that? I mean, now MM had to reveal his classic army, and Chumchu can prepare for taking that as well.
Yep.
So that's the problem with not going for the war this turn, but next one. And didn't MM have enough with the patriotism to go for another Air Forces? So really interesting that he didn't go for that. Yeah, now Chumchu can take the Red Cross. Has to be quite afraid of a war now, but he has enough military actions to, I guess, go for 2 Air Force next turn, maybe 1 more Knight and 1 more Swordsman. I don't know if he actually has enough for that, but yeah, it looks like he doesn't have enough for all of that. So a little bit, I guess he only needs 1 Knight because of Marlene, and then he has enough for 2 Air Force and a Knight. Has the tactic 2 times.
I think it'll be really interesting. I'm not. Yeah, it looks like Chumchu can defend reasonably well. But I mean, he only has swordsman, so he's not going to be as strong.
But he has the Magic Castle, and then sacrificing an Air Force with that is...
it's more than that.
That's 8 strength to defend. He has military theory and theology, so...
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, does MM need to go for the war? I guess he's going to see that next turn. So I think Chumchu has to take Red Cross, so that would definitely force MM to have the war and go for it. Chumchu could easily finish International Red Cross the next turn, finishing 4 steps from that.
So
yeah, grabs that, builds 2 steps, goes.
He built a knight and a swordsman.
I mean, you don't need the knight and the swordsman, right? Because of Marlene. So
interesting, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this means he can't go for 2 Air Forces next turn.
Wonder if he forgot about Marlene there.
Maybe, yeah. And MM doesn't... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they were very peaceful until everybody realized Pierre wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
And they get through H3 and oh, he's not there, and so they decide to fight with each other.
But it looks like has not declared the war yet, but maybe he's just going through his turn before declaring that. But I mean, now he has a pretty good turn. Chumchu can only go for 1 air forces. And that should not be enough. So MM's turn. He's looking at Chumchu's civilization quite a lot here, but I think MM's plan resolved around taking that space flight, but looks like he's going back now and declaring that war. If you can get like 1 or 2 more frames going here, we could see that. Yeah, can go for 1 more air force. Looks like looks like we have to talk about the not getting the best connection apparently at the moment. So, but he does go for that. He can grab the spaceflight and 2 reserves, but that's not enough for spaceflight next turn. So looks like he's going back again. Dropping some frames here, yes.
It's more like we're getting some frames.
Yeah, exactly. So that is not perfect. Maybe we should concern ourselves more with who has good frames and not which is maybe the most exciting match on paper. I mean, at least that's going to be quite good in the finals. That is next week. That we know all of those players and we know which ones have good connections. So we should get some more frames than this at the moment.
So if red doesn't get strong enough, then yellow could get some resources with an aggression.
Yeah,
finish space plate.
Oh yeah, that's true. But did he try out that war, or why is he not considering that? Now he does. Now he plays the war. No, goes back again. I still think it's a good war.
He had it chosen, but wasn't sure, and then maybe
confirms the aggression. Okay, so no war this game. Aggression has to be enough apparently. And he can destroy 1 movies and 1 big religion.
Oof.
Oof indeed, yeah. The timer's out of frame. I don't know how much time he had left. Maybe we can put that into the frame.
100 seconds.
There you have it, guys. There you have the clock as well. And now he has enough to finish spaceflight next turn. One problem is Chumchu still gets his red cross finished. Yeah, really interesting that he invested so much into his military, but didn't decide to go for the war. Didn't do that last turn, didn't want to do that this turn. Yeah. So, yeah, this again a very close game. Maybe I think it shouldn't have been as close, but the way it's looking now, it's really hard to say who's gonna win. MM gets a space flight for a lot of culture, I guess, and Chumchu is gonna get a lot more out of his red cross. And the terrorism still has not hit, so
yeah, it's really interesting.
Maybe a lot came down to that dance around that. And now MM goes for an air force. I mean, he does know that he can't go for a war next turn, or does he? It's too late for that now. Yeah, looks like he's setting himself up for the best kind of culture production for the next turn. Has 16 production now, so that's pretty nice. Probably, yeah, definitely has enough for the space flight next turn as well. And looks like he will have enough for computers and professional sports. So that is going to be 6 more culture for that space flight. But yeah, going up to 52 strength. I mean, he got that 1 aggression out of that.
Yeah. He maybe gets another one.
Yeah, maybe. Sadly, he doesn't have an armed intervention. The plunder will probably be not that great. Maybe he gets another movies out of that or something. But yeah, it's gonna be really close. Chumchu can finish his Red Cross. That's 12 more culture for him. And then a little bit from the colonies. I think we've had 3 colonies. And I mean, with 10 resources, he can go for another movies with the masonry. It's also gonna help with his happy faces, because it gets 2 from those. But yeah, that could maybe has to lead something. Who knows? But he definitely wants some more happy faces. Maybe he has to rebuild the religion that he just lost.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, gonna be interesting what Chumchu has to go for here, the religion or the movies. He could even increase population 1 more time with the Ocean Service, but that doesn't really help him. Still has an efficient upgrade. So yeah, probably just navigating around what's the most culture for him. Probably can't defend against the next aggression. I mean, he does get quite a lot out of copying the tactic, so with the Himeji Castle and maybe some defend cards, he could definitely defend.
Yeah. And he can, I guess, get the Air Force out if he wanted to do that.
Looks like he decides he wants to do that, right? Looking at his half of the screen. I mean, he has Emperor Strength apparently in his hand, but didn't decide to play that, of course, so that's at least really, really good knowledge for him. So that is something at least for him. So now we can see he goes and increases population for free, goes rebuilds the religion, finishes his Red Cross and builds an Air Force, I believe, and gets even stronger. So who knows what's in there. And MM plays the Input of Variety. Maybe we get the frame where we can see what event was revealed.
It was actually Crime Wave.
It was Crime Wave, not the terrorism. Okay.
No, an interesting. Chumchu actually was stronger than when that came out.
Oh yeah. So that means that the poll that Hannes did, terrorism didn't get out, so nobody was right.
Yeah, that was not an option.
Yeah, that was no option, Hannes. Definitely should have thought about that. But looks like, yeah, MM gets the Nobel Prize as well with his developing 2 technologies. Can't finish spaceflight. I don't know how much he got out of that. Did you catch that?
I did not.
So does MM want to get stronger again? I mean, he didn't have the Input of Strength in hand, that is in Red's hand. He didn't play it though, so who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
So we can see that MM
went really fast.
Okay, MM was able to win it. So yeah, we know that at least. So that is pretty clear. So we see the last frame. That is the most important one. MM quite convincingly without the war being able to win it. So he didn't need that. So well done by him. And yeah, not a lot of people thought so, but he did. So I guess whoever bid on Chumchu is not gonna Not gonna get at that. But yeah, well done by the other players knowing that. And I think this means we can have a look at the rest of the
So
tournament.
that was an interesting match where they just sort of both did their thing for a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had the one aggression, but they were both just building their civilization up and not doing too much with the other player.
Yeah. Going for what you want. Like this, that's basically the dream, right? Building up your resource production, your food production, or science production, not really having to worry about strength at all. And then in the end, transitioning into culture. And then I guess one player had a more efficient culture engine in the end. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit surprising that the coal from Chumchu didn't do more. Yeah, Mu also, or Chumchu also being in the chat saying that his H1 and 2 were great H1, but H2 went badly. I mean, the WOT was pretty nice, right? So
yeah, and I think he just had Legion, right, for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, MN didn't have any tactic for a long time, and then yeah, Legion against no tactic, at least that's some strength. So yeah, let's take maybe a look at the rest of the tournament and talk about the matches that have finished already. And we can see that Reston and Hibu apparently still going on. Genghis and Rasmolde not having finished yet, but Fabian was able to win against Demon Cleaner, and yeah, great job by him. So he's gonna come to the final to qualify against either DJParson or Kyolo, and Triitze able to win against Gogu, and they are still waiting for Charval H and Lucas Gain.